The Good Friday Agreement, or Belfast Agreement, is a pair of agreements signed on the 10th of April 1998 that ended most of the violence of the Troubles, a political conflict in Northern Ireland that had ensued since the late 1960s. It was a major development in the Northern Ireland peace process of the 1990s. Northern Ireland's present devolved system of government is based on the agreement. The agreement also created a number of institutions between Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland, and between the Republic of Ireland and the United Kingdom. Issues relating to sovereignty, civil and cultural rights, decommissioning of weapons, demilitarization, justice and policing were central to the agreement. The agreement was approved by voters across the island of Ireland in two referendums held on the 22nd of May, 1998. In Northern Ireland, voters were asked in the 1998 Northern Ireland Good Friday Agreement referendum whether they supported the multi-party agreement. In the Republic of Ireland, voters were asked whether they would allow the state to sign the agreement and allow necessary constitutional changes to facilitate it. The people of both jurisdictions needed to approve the agreement in order to give effect to it. The British-Irish Agreement came into force on the 2nd of December 1999. The Democratic Unionist Party was the only major political group in Northern Ireland to oppose the Good Friday Agreement. When the Irish Free State was established in 1922, 6 of the island's northern counties opted to remain part of the United Kingdom. For Northern Ireland, the decades that followed were marked by tensions and controversies, sometimes spilling over into violence, between Unionists who favoured remaining with Britain and nationalists who favoured unification with the Irish Free State. Starting in the late 1960s, this conflict became more intense and more violent. In the ensuing 30-plus year period, over 3,500 deaths were attributed to these hostilities, which came to be known as the Troubles. Serious political efforts to end the conflict began in the late 80s and continued through the 90s. Ceasefires were declared and broken. The agreement came after very many years of complex talks, proposals, and compromises. Many people made major contributions. Tony Blair and Bertie Ahern were leaders of the UK and the Republic of Ireland at the time. The talks were chaired by US Special Envoy George Mitchell. The agreement is made up of two interrelated documents, both agreed in Belfast on Good Friday, the 10th of April 1998. The agreement set out a complex series of provisions relating to a number of areas, including the agreement was made between the British and Irish governments and 8 political parties or groupings from Northern Ireland. 3 were representative of unionism, the Ulster Unionist Party, which had led unionism in Ulster since the beginning of the 20th century, and 2 smaller parties associated with loyalist paramilitaries, the Progressive Unionist Party and Ulster Democratic Party. 2 were broadly labelled nationalist, the Social Democratic and Labour Party, and Sinn Féin, the Republican Party associated with the Provisional Irish Republican Army. Independent of these rival traditions were 2 other assembly parties, the Cross Community Alliance Party and the Northern Ireland Women's Coalition. There was also the grouping Labour Coalition. The US Senator George J. Mitchell was sent to chair the talks between the parties and groups by the US President Bill Clinton. The agreement comprises 2 elements. The former text has just 4 articles. It is that short text that is the legal agreement, but it incorporates in its schedules the latter agreement. Technically, this scheduled agreement can be distinguished as the multi-party agreement, as opposed to the Belfast Agreement itself. The vague wording of some of the provisions, described as constructive ambiguity, helped ensure acceptance of the agreement and served to postpone debate on some of the more contentious issues. Most notably, these included paramilitary decommissioning, police reform and the normalization of Northern Ireland. The agreement acknowledged both of these views were acknowledged as being legitimate. For the first time, the Irish government accepted in a binding international agreement that Northern Ireland was part of the United Kingdom. The Irish constitution was also amended to implicitly recognise Northern Ireland as part of the United Kingdom's sovereign territory. conditional upon the consent for a united Ireland from majorities of the people in both jurisdictions on the island. On the other hand, the language of the agreement reflects a switch in the United Kingdom's statutory emphasis from one for the Union to one for a united Ireland. The agreement thus left the issue of future sovereignty over Northern Ireland open-ended. The agreement reached was that Northern Ireland was part of the United Kingdom and would remain so until a majority of th.